Okay, if this video is too weird to my last two, it's because I don't like Act 3. And you're about to find out why. In episode 7, we kick the third act off with a pretty cool music video. We see through some street art inspired visuals who the Firelights really are, and they come off as the coolest freedom fighting group since the Resistance. All while Misfits Toys by Pusha T and Mako are playing.
Come on, man.
Come on! I'll admit right now that one thing I adore about this episode is the damn music, and that includes the score. I don't know who was in the studio, but they weren't playing around. After a pretty abrupt end, we are knocked into the Firelights hideout where Vi and Caitlyn are being held against their will and arguing over Jinx and the gemstone. Ladies, I don't understand. Either you guys are flirting or arguing. It's insane. Before they could bite each other's heads off over Jinx and the gemstone, Vi is snatched away by the Firelight leader, who happens to be Echo.
Surprise!
Come on, it was obvious. This guy thought Vi was working with Silco, and after Vi clarifies that she doesn't work with Silco in her Vi way, her and Echo dropped their misunderstandings and embrace after 7 years of being apart, worrying the other was dead. Oh, and Caitlyn's off the hook too, since Vi trusts her.
Let her go. I brought her here. It's me you want.
My hero.
Okay, that was cute. Now that Echo knows what's up, he lets Vi in on Jinx's mental state and informs her that she is willingly working for Silco. Of course, Vi refuses to believe that. That's her sister, her family. So Echo decides to ignore Vi for now and instead switches his attention onto Caitlyn, because she's not just a topsider, she's an enforcer. And if we know anything about Echo, is that he can't stand. Vi and Echo find out why Caitlyn is downtown flipping the Undercity on its head with Punch Hungry here. She explains the gemstones she's been seeking can create, but also can destroy if utilized in the wrong way. Though it takes a lot of convincing, Echo backs off and decides to help them out with returning the gemstone to Piltover, but under one condition.
I'm the one who gives it to them.
Seriously? Fine, if you have a death wish, go right ahead. The three of them get themselves ready for the bridge, and after seeing some beautiful firelights, they reach the bridge ready to hand in this gemstone.
I can't leave her again.
You can't change her.
Jesus Christ, let her go, Echo. She's her sister anyway. She might be able to get through Jinx's thick skull. Give it a chance. I mean, she almost did earlier. It's just Caitlyn had poor timing, so who's to say she won't be able to do it with you two being absent? I say it's for the best. Luckily, Echo and Caitlyn leave Vi be after some hard convincing so she can set things right with her baby sister. Before we move into what happens next, I want to tell you guys a story. So, once upon a sorry-ass time, there was once an enforcer. This enforcer was someone who took his job more seriously than his peers, even being considered the right hand to the sheriff. And though he had an attitude problem and lacked tact, he had the makings of a great leader. Unfortunately, he was still half-baked development-wise when it came to the job, making him lack understanding in the acts his sheriff tried to make with the Undercity. This confusion turned into animosity, and in animosity, he made a deal with the devil, who promised him riches and big booty bitches. With the devil's word, he became the high-ranked enforcer he always wanted to be, but he had to make a few sacrifices. As the years passed, this enforcer, now the sheriff, mellowed out, but with his title, he became the errand boy to the council and to the devil. At first, he accepted this, but eventually the pressure of a sheriff proved too much. He started to make drastic mistakes, leading to his credibility to be ruined and his family to be put in danger. The pressure started to become too much, and due to his errors, he was on his final leg. He had one last mission from the devil to prove himself, no matter the cost. And though he could have easily declined, he never did. He still let the thirst for power take control of him, and soon enough, consumed his whole being. Every single piece of him. Now, if that makes you feel nothing, then guess what?
That's how I feel!
I don't give a single fuck about Marcus either. He died, so what? That's less boy to worry about. Good riddance, I spit on you. And who killed him? Take a guess. So while everyone was pussyfooting around, Jinx was losing her marbles and taking it on everyone in her way, including Silco. In addition to catching Caitlyn and Vi hugging in 4K, as well as letting Wifey take over her mind like a damn parasite, she makes a scene on the bridge with her new but familiar toys. Her actions terrify Vi, and Vi's actions enrage her, but before she can do anything, Echo steps up to the plate to defend them, and... oh my god, this song is fire! I may be biased because I love Denzel Curry, but Dynasties and Dystopias goes hard with the stylized scenery. The contrast between the moments that cut between two friends at childhood and enemies is amazing, which is why the results kinda suck. So I'm sure we all noticed that Jinx has tendencies that are not healthy. But not even I would have guessed she'd go this far. It really goes to show that she feels she's really alone and hated or deceived by everyone. And that breaks my heart so bad. Because of this boiling self-hatred, her and Echo's story ends with the dreadful feeling that they've moved on from the world of Runeterra. Oh, and Singe gets Victor addicted to shivers, Jace breaks up with Victor, while 69 Mel and Piltover is thinking about going to war with Zahn, even if they low-key are making things worse. So, episode 7 was an alright episode, but it definitely showed Arcane's dark side of the moon. I really loved the tracks of this episode. It was nice to see Echo fully again, and watching Jinx spiraling was sad but effective. Everything else was pretty much fine. It's just... my issue with this episode is that arguably nothing much happened, even with the faster pacing. I feel that if maybe they cut down a bit more on Vi and Caitlyn's time at the Firelight Hideout, or some scenes with Jace, they could have really focused more on some bigger story points and made them stronger over the arguably minute scenes. Oh well, hopefully the next episode is better. For now, episode 7 gets a matching 7 out of 10 and a C-. So, yeah, this episode isn't better. It's worse. Episode 8 starts off with yet another flashback cold opening, but this time, we are following a young Mel. Oh my god, we're finally getting some Mel development. It is about damn time! We find out that Mel is a child of the Medarda family and the daughter of a feared Noxian named Ambessa Medarda. How scary is she? This is someone who stole from them. This is how they resolve the issue. Does that answer your question? I hate to be negative off the back, but this scene is kind of what I wish the scene between Caitlyn and Grayson was more like. Not only do we get insight into Mel's past and a peek as to why she was banished from Noxus, but we also get more insight into her character. How when younger, Ambessa had such a chokehold on Mel, as shown in her being Baskin's shadow, having sinister opinions on justice and revenge, as well as displaying what she's capable of. Not to mention, it also gives us a glimpse as to how the Kingdom of Noxus works and what kind of inhabitants it possesses. Of course, this was present in Caitlyn's cold opening in Piltover, but I feel here it was perfected through Mel. I don't think it helps either that next to Demacia, Noxus is my favorite kingdom from League of Legends, so yeah, I'm a bit biased. On first viewing, I thought this would be all we get from Mel in regards to her character. But boy was I in for quite the surprise, because Mel ends up getting an unannounced visit from her dear mother Ambessa, who comes bearing some terrible news.
Your brother's gone.
What happened?
Oh, and she wants in on the war brewing between Zahn and Piltover. Why? Well, Mel thinks it's because of her Noxus mindset and ways, but I don't know, something about the way Ambessa speaks begs me and Mel to think her reason is something else. Something deeper. Hopefully she lets in on her motives after she tries the local cuisine. I pray that man has some Vaseline because something tells me Ambessa is a top. You know the best part about this second beefcake coming into the chat? She makes Jason to her bitch. He tries to humble her, but Ambessa steps up, showing herself proudly off, lucky bastard, and puts him in his place just like that. Is Ambessa going to be my favorite character? While the council is going through their woes and debating on warfare or singing Kumbaya, Vi is busy taking care of Caitlyn, getting her back home and... Okay, if I was in Vi's place, I'm either jumping back out that window or I'm getting on my knees. Luckily, Caitlyn is able to clear up everything with her parents, introducing her to her pink-haired guard dog and calling the council out on their bullshit. Hey! Prompting her mother to woman up and get her daughter a meeting with the council on the status of the other city. In the meantime, though, Caitlyn and Vi find themselves bonding with each other through Violet opening up a little about her past with Jinx. It's in these actions do the two find themselves strengthening what they have as partners in crime. Maybe taking a step into being something more, and they don't have sex. I know some people like to say they did, but I just can't see that happening. I think this was just a sweet, comforting scene of Caitlyn being the first person, let alone the only enforcer Vi will ever meet, that understands and comforts her, which is very sweet. You know what's not sweet? The meeting. With the meeting underway, Vi helps Caitlyn reveal Silco's intentions and hesitantly throws Jinx under the bus. Their information prompts Jace to fully vouch for war, something that not everyone approves of except for Violet? She's willing to go to war? Because of Silco? Look, I understand if it's only Silco who's gonna catch these hands, but I think Vi needs to understand something along with Jace. Are you two willing to lose other lives doing this? Think of Echo, the Firelights, the innocent bystanders and civilians simply living their lives trying to get by. Think of Jinx, more importantly, think of Powder. If they pull such a foolish stunt like this off, they might end up being as bad or even worse than Silco. And Mel definitely understands that as a woman who was born and raised in Noxus. It is because of her that the council decides to stop sucking Jace's Johnson for once and decline an option for war. Vi isn't here for pacifism because of course she isn't, so she leaves to go and finish Silco off on her own. Caitlyn tries her best to communicate with Vi, if not try to calm her down, and
Top side and bottom, oil and water. That's all there is.
What about us?
Oil and water wasn't meant to be.
You're just saying that.
and that is why I just can't ship Kate Vi. If you ship them, that's good. I'm happy you do. They do make a cute couple anyways in concept. Shit, I'll even say now that I ship them in the LOL lore. But here, I just can't. Their communication is for the most part awful to me. Vi seems to push Caitlyn away while she tries to pull her closer. And though the series has made it abundantly clear that they are endgame, they just don't click with me. I really, really hope that come season 2, I will end up liking, loving, or even shipping Kate Vi. But for now, I'm sorry. I can't lie to myself and I can't lie to you guys. In my opinion, they don't work right now. Because of Vi and Jace being upset with the outcome of the meeting with the council, the both of them decide to go behind everyone's backs and make their move on a shiver factory to send a message to Silco. And boy, do they send a pretty good damn message. They end up kicking some serious ass to the amazing track Snakes by Miari and Pivris. I think that's what it's pronounced as, Pivris. Showing off the Hextech gauntlets and Hex-powered hammer that I'm sure all veterans of League of Legends screamed at seeing it in full action. The whole fight is an adrenaline rush full of heavy hitters, and you end up getting so lost in the takedown that you can't focus on. Oh shit. No. So I bet you guys are wondering, where's Victor? Well, after his experiment with the Hex Core, he ends up succeeding in ridding himself of his illness to an extent, augmenting his foot as a result. So he takes his foot for a test drive. No lie, these next 3 minutes are absolute perfection. The comparison between young Victor chasing his boat and older Victor outrunning the cruisers behind him is just absolute perfection. Just as great as the victorious moment is followed by a traumatizing moment. In Victor's thirst for more Hexcore energy, he ends up nearly losing himself and unintentionally losing the one person who cared for him the most. He could have prevented it all, but it was too late. His thirst was stronger, and because of this, Sky was taken from him and this world. If I had to pick a scene throughout the whole season, I would say that this is the best scene in all of Season 1. The rise and fall flows like Egyptian water, and the fact that everything Victor and Sky have done in this season led to this moment is depressing but phenomenal. If you're looking for an example of how to write stories, this series is definitely jam-packed with that. But if you're looking for how to make a scene that will have an emotional impact with your audience, look no further than this. And even if this scene isn't your speed, don't worry. The next episode has a scene like this that's probably more up your alley. But let's put a pin in that for now. Down in Zod, only two things occur. One, Heimerdinger finds himself trying to get used to Zod Night life, and while looking around the corners like a curious furball he is, he ends up meeting Echo! He's alive! Yeah! And two, Jinx is experimenting on Silco because he just recently watched Frankenstein. So he drugged Silco, who found her on the bridge, and jumped into father mode to get her help. With him out of the way, he gets to work, making Jinx see some of the worst scenery known to man, and ends up creating a freak of nature. One that had me in my seat rubbing my hands, knowing just what exactly he might have produced in that creepy room. And Caitlyn is about to find out what that is too.
Hey, bestie.
Let's be honest, episode 8 had some great moments, in the form of Victor's story climax with the Hex Core, and the fight of the Chim tanks against Vi and Jace. But at the end of the day, this was a K-Vi half-hour special starring Piltover. The introduction to Abessa was amazing, of course, and actually spending the time we did with her in this episode makes me more than excited to see what she's capable of in the next episode, if not season 2. Though it was nice to see everyone setting up for the season finale, I still feel like much was missing from this episode. And the way Vi treated Caitlyn here didn't make things any better. Actually, just everything about Vi and Jace in this episode compelled me to whoop their asses. It's hard because this episode has some breathtaking moments, but also some moments that just made me sigh. And it definitely doesn't help that Jinx was sidelined hard, even if her transformation is critical to what's bound to happen next. I hate to do this, but episode 8 gets the lowest score of the season, with a 6 out of 10 and a D. Before we dive right into episode 9, I'm sure you all are wondering something. Where the hell is Savika? Glad you asked. So in episode 7, while things are going down with the Enforcers and the Firelights, Savika chaperones Silco to a meeting with the Chim Barons, who are just Zod's council. While there, we are met with Cross, Margot, Smeech, Rennie, and Finn. Now, all of these guys are honestly butthurt members of the organization, but Chim Barons as a whole are a faction from the video games, specifically connected to the champions Renata Glask, Corina Veraza, and Ergo. Or is it pronounced Ergot? I don't know if their presence here and their reports to the story is foreshadowing or something on these beloved champions appearing in the future, but even if it's not, this is a nice way to further develop the lanes and its hierarchy. Here they are more side characters, but I hope in the future we learn more of them. Who knows, this could be on some anime and low-key foreshadowing our future villains. For now though, the only important members are Finn and Rennie. The council under a pathetic thumb of Finn tried to ridicule Silco for letting Jinx run loose and not really doing anything to ensure the independence of Zon, which...
He's got a point.
But Silco puts that little ass gophers in their place by reminding them who the Kingpin really is.
You don't recognize it. Air so thick it clogged your throat. I pulled you all up from the depths, offered you a taste of topside and fresh air. I gave you life, purpose, but you've grown fat and complacent. We came from a world where there was never enough to go round. That is why we fight.
That's what I'm talking about!
Do you remember?
That's why he's leaving me! That's why he's the GOAT!
Don't
The
forget
GOAT!
Through this action, he humbled his followers, but in return made a new enemy in Finn. This guy nearly dies, and instead of learning from his mistakes, he decides to bother our mommy dear Savika while she's upgrading her arm and propose a deal. Work with him, and she won't be treated like chopped liver anymore by Silco. Which,
He's got a point.
though she doesn't accept, she doesn't exactly decline. So they set up Finn as a nerf foil for Silco, a snotty-nosed bitch that thinks he's better than them. Okay, so we know why he's so important, but how's Rennie important exactly? You see this little runt? The one who got killed? Yeah, that's her son. Not only did he spill his first blood by taking an innocent life, even if it's low-key the boy's mom's fault for putting him in child labor, but he took the life of a Chim Baron's family. You can bet your ass this is going to piss someone off downtown. But hey, Vi doesn't give a shit. She's used to kids kicking the bucket left and right. They gotta worry about the bigger picture and take down Silco.
Stop! Just stop.
I get it. Trust me, I do. You are angry. Your sister is different from how you remembered her. You were emotionally pushed out of Piltover. You're still suffering from years you were locked up and abused, and the one person who was whining to you is someone who arguably dug his own grave. But for 1 second, just one measly second, can you realize the trauma this will have on him? He took someone's life. Accidental, yes, but he still did it. Do you realize that this is the cost of war? That more children might fall for the sins of you and your enemy? You need to think for once, Violet. For 1 damn second, stop being a woe is me against the world, cliche punk lesbian, and think about something else instead of yourself. Forget it. Just forget it. It's like talking to a wall. I'm glad Jace just let her go, because I would have done the same. After Vi burns a bridge with the council, she's making a beeline to the last drop to burn another bridge, leaving Jace to clean up his own mess. While that's occurring, Savika decides to meet up with Silco alongside a confident Finn and a heartbroken, vengeful Rennie, who had just found her son taken from her. It is abundantly clear that Silco is about to get his ill fate from the frustrated front of the Chimberets, and it seems Savika is joining in on this rebellion.
But I still believe in loyalty.
Holy shit. I remember the first time I watched this scene, me and Silco had the same expression. Jokes aside, this scene is character study gold. It really shows just how loyal Savika is to Silco, even if his treatment of her has been poor. You'd expect her to jump ship like she did with Vander, but no. She's Silco's right hand, and she always will be. Though her last comment does make it sound like he's on his last leg.
Were you tempted?
Not for a worm like him, but he won't be the last.
If I didn't love Savika already, this scene would have made me her #1 fan. Guess you can add her in with Mbessa for interesting characters that I hope to learn more of in Season 2. Oh, and of course, you can't leave out Mel. Back in Piltover, which I'm sure is much more calmer than Zod right now, Victor mourns for... God damn. Victor, why are you saying that? Victor mourns for Sky, learning of her pining for him through her love letters.
Victor, I know this will probably never see the light of day, but watching how you work so tirelessly to make the world a better place, well, I couldn't forgive myself if I didn't try. Everyone's got to do their part, right?
That's it?
In his depressive state, he tries to destroy the Hex Core. But he can't. The guilt is too much, and so is the influence of the Hex Core. Because of this, Victor almost pulls a Guzman, but Jace becomes his Lucretia this time and saves his life. The both of them, down on their luck, reconnect as exes and reminisce on a better time. A time that's gone. Victor makes Jace promise him to destroy the Hex Core, and though it pains him because he still loves him so much he can't bear to lose him, he agrees to do so. But first, he has to deal with someone. After the low-key traumatizing experience, Silco meets up with Jace, and the both of them surprisingly have a heart-to-heart about the state of the cities and the threat a war would bring. They both agree on not wishing for such ill fates on one another. For once, what Vander was pushing for with Grayson is starting to make sense to both of them. So they make a deal. Zod has access to all of Piltover's resources as long as Shimmer is discontinued and Jinx is turned in. Only then will the nation of Zon be realized. Hey, wait a minute! Where's Mel?
Stay away from Jace. March back to your ship and get the hell out of my city.
Oh, the princess has claws. Wow. Turns out the reason why Mbessa showed up to Piltover in the first place is because the man who murdered Mel's brother is trying to kill off the Murdarda family. Knowing Noxus, I feel like a lot of people could fall into the murderer role. Maybe the guy who did was Swain. Or Sion. Maybe Darius. Could have been my lovable man Draven. I'm just saying, it's Noxus. Anyone can catch these hands over it. So Mbessa needs all the help she can get, and she feels she can get that in Hextech. But Mel refuses. Besides, Mbessa kicked her to the curb because...
You weakened me. I couldn't...
Damn. That hits just as hard as...
You're not ready.
So Mbessa has a heart and is a family woman. She's just has a funny way of showing it. Like Silco. Actually, the relationship between Melon and Bessa in this scene is a lot like the chemistry between Jinx and Silco when confronted with Vi's status. It really astonishes me how many parallels can be found in the most unlikely of characters. It goes to show how layered everyone is. Now the question is this: will Silco agree to the deal? And will Mel fall into the Noxus way of living for her family by utilizing Hextech for war? We don't know right now. But what we do know is that Vi finally arrived at the last drop and is ready to initiate round 2 with Savika. With the bar cleared out, the fight goes underway and... Okay, let's start like this. When I first saw this fight, I thought it was one of the best fights in the series. I love seeing how Vi could really fight with the gauntlets versus how Savika easily wielded her new upgrades. Matched out with the awesome score and the heavy hits delivered, along with the moment of encouragement from Vander that pushes Vi to win this fight, and this has the makings for one of the best battles in the whole series. But of course that was 2 years ago. Now? Well, how do I put this? I think this is my least favorite battle in all of Season 1. The in-between cuts of some scenes just breaks up the momentum of the battle for me. And I'm sorry, but I feel like I confidently label Vi's win as a Deus Ex Machina. And that's being generous because I could call this an ass pull, but I won't go there. The shots near the end were beautiful, but this is not the best fight in the series, not by a long shot. Anyways, Vi beats Sabika again, which makes me want to call bull once more. But it's okay though, because someone thinks it's bull too.
Bravo, sis.
Yeah, that's right. Jinx is okay, everybody. She's back in commission and she's rocking a new makeover. In her first royal decree as the loose cannon of Zaun, she decided to kidnap Vi, Silco, and Caitlyn for an exclusive tea party where she reads everyone for filth.
I paid your girlfriend a visit this morning.
Caitlyn's not Vi's girlfriend, she's my wife.
What did you do?
I made her a snack.
Sheesh. I'm not that crazy.
Hello? That's not funny!
Vi is pushed into a standstill, having to choose between Powder and Jinx by choosing if she shoots Caitlyn or not. But that's wifey! Of course she doesn't shoot her. As if that didn't make matters worse, Silco, with his heart on his sleeves, tries to appease Jinx before Caitlyn finally gets a gun! Yes, baby! Use that hoe! Shoot it up! Now having her gun focus on Caitlyn, Vi tries to snap Jinx back into reality with a shonen anime talk of Nakama that hurts her? And Silco loses his mind and goes to shoot Violet and
No, I'm sorry.
I never would have given you to them. Don't cry. You're perfect.
in the last moments of his life, Silco reminds Jinx of how she's perfect just the way she is, flaws and all. It never mattered who she used to be and what she's becoming. What always mattered to him was that Jinx was and always will be his daughter. He loved her. For her. Something that it seems Vi just can't do. Which is why Powder truly dies and Jinx lives. With their sides chosen, Jinx breaks away from Violet and sets on her own path as her own person, fulfilling Silco's mission of creating the weapon to take down Piltover, Fishbones. And in a fashion similar to Zaun and Piltover's trailer from Legends of Runeterra, Jinx sets her weapon off, but this time, it shoots in the right direction. Right at the council for Vi and Caitlyn to see. Right at Mel, Jace, Victor, Shula, Haskell, Bobak, Salo, and Cassandra. The ones that would change the course of everything by refusing to go to war. Or at least, they thought they could. But little do they know that their lives and others will be changed by the monster they created. Episode 9 was the best episode in Act 3, beating episodes 7 and 8 by a landslide. This episode was beyond exciting and bold, showing us the full extent of the characters. The way everyone's story ends temporarily is good enough to leave fans wanting more. I would know, I was screaming and tearing up my living room over this ending. The action, though not the strongest in the series, was sufficient enough, and the character drama had me on the edge of my seat, even when it deals with politics, which I usually hate. I'm not sure what else I can say except that this episode was just phenomenal, and because of that, I am tempted to give this episode a perfect score. But I think I'll settle for a 9 out of 10 and an A+. I enjoyed coming back for the series to prepare for Season 2. Though Act 3 was not my favorite act, it still had some of my favorite moments in the whole season. Looking back editing-wise at this video, I'm pretty sure I was too harsh on some areas of my critique, but hey, it's a brutally honest review. It's in the title, come on. Regardless though, I still love this series, even if my words could have some people saying differently. Arcane was and still is such a monumental show in my life, pushing me to get back into the arts and even giving me the push to start this channel. Season 2 is going to be the final season with these characters, which makes me sad, but excited for the future of the series beyond Zod and Piltover, as well as what else for Teach and Riot has to offer. And don't worry, even when all this is over, I'm not going anywhere, because we are just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a comment below, and if you enjoyed my other videos along with my shorts, consider subscribing to the channel. Now if you excuse me, I'm going to go bump Tyler the Creator's. I hope you all stay safe, stay hydrated, and have a good day. Until then, I will see you in Season 2. I love you all.